Well, you say I never shout you out in any other videos, so I thought that'd be a nice little shout out, Gary. Yes, I understand. I asked the Dark Powers to give me a new producer. But they didn't, so everything's okay, I guess. Hello, everyone. Jerryactric here with Jerryactric Midnight Movie Review, and tonight it was Ghostbusters the Reboot. Now, we got a lot to talk about this film, so let's just get into it. I loved it. It was funny. It was action-packed. The special effects were amazing. The crowd that I saw was pretty packed, and I was actually pretty surprised at that, especially given all the controversy around it. If you know the story, if you know your Ghostbusters, it's basically that 3 scientists and a subway worker start discovering that ghosts are real, and someone is trying to draw them and take over New York. We find out that the mayor of New York knows about this problem and doesn't want to tell people because he doesn't want to panic. So, as I said, it was funny. Every character had their moment, and the 2 principals, of course, is Kristen Wiig as Dr. Erin Gilbert, who believed in ghosts and authored a book with her friend, but now kind of wants to put it behind her because she has this huge problem of people thinking she's crazy, and she's kind of gotten into this whole belief system that you have to be accepted, you have to be normal, you have to pretend to be normal. Her friend, Dr. Abby Yates, played by the always funny Melissa McCarthy, kept going with the ghosts, and these 2 have had a falling out. She's the believer and trying to figure out what's going on. 2 supporting characters. The MVP of the whole film was, of course, Dr. Jillian Hotzman, which is Kate McCannon. I hope I said that right. She's just hilarious. Has these little sidebars and just will say these non sequiturs, and she's just a very funny character. And of course, Leslie Jones playing Patty, who kind of plays the character as anybody can be a Ghostbuster. There was a lot of controversy, and when you talk about this movie, there was a lot of controversy everywhere. But she kind of shows you that anybody can be a Ghostbuster. It's not because, oh, well, she's an African American like Ernie Hudson in the first one, and so she can't be a scientist. It's pretty much showing you that anybody can be a Ghostbuster, which is good stuff. I wanted to be a Ghostbuster. I think I dressed up with like a Ghostbuster for like 2 Halloweens when I was a kid. Had the proton pack and everything. The other person, and I'll tell you this, I read some early reviews, and they were not kind to Chris Hemsworth, who plays Kevin, the receptionist. They were saying he's not funny, he drains every scene he's in, and I was like, God, I love, Chris Hemsworth from Thor and, his other movies. I can tell you this, that they're completely wrong. He is funny, he matches the girls, step for step, and just playing a guy who is just dumb as a, bag of rocks, and they only hire him because he's good looking, and he's very funny. If there's one weakness to this movie, it is the villain. That is Ronan, played by Neil Casey, and it's not that he's a bad villain, it's not that his motivations aren't interesting, it's just, I didn't kind of feel like when he showed up, I was kind of like, okay, where's the big moment? And there wasn't. But trust me, they kind of solved that problem halfway through the movie. So it was very good. Paul Feig, again, if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry, did a very good job. He knows when to slow it down, when to have the action going, how to best use the special effects we've got. And he did a very good job. One of the things that I thought of was, if you don't know, the first trailer of this reboot was actually the most disliked video on YouTube. And I wondered kind of, as halfway through the movie, like, I wonder if that was a marketing strategy to say, like, oh yeah, it's going to be terrible, and, because it is so much better than I thought it was going to be. If you're a fan of the original Ghostbusters, keep your eyes out. Everybody's in this, and I do mean everybody. There is a post-credits scene, and if you kind of don't want to wait around for it, stick around for a little bit into the credits because there are some more scenes, and the greatest cameo of all of them is in that scene. So the other thing we got to talk about here is there had been a lot of hate about this movie long before it came out, when it was announced, when it was filming. And a lot of people kind of, and I think it was they grasped onto this whole narrative, well, it's because it's females. And, I believe that too, that this hate was because, okay, we don't want females in this role. But after hearing a lot of things, a prominent YouTuber actually came out and made a video about how he would not see this movie because he felt he was so against it. He says, I'm not going to see this to review it. So I don't think it was a female thing. What I started to think was, and I honestly felt embarrassed because this is my generation. We're the kids who kind of grew up on Ghostbusters. It's the spoiled 3-year-old. Oh, these are my toys. You can't play with them because they're mine. And guys, that's just embarrassing, okay? That doesn't make us look good. It's Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters, okay? As I said, I was there in the theater for the first one, second one. I saw the cartoon, and just getting to this point where everybody was like, we're not going to do this. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who was, my age, and he was totally anti-Ghostbusters. I'm not going to go see it. I can't believe they're doing this, And they said, well, you shouldn't remake, classic movies like that. And I said, well, let me tell you this, man. If you're upset about Ghostbusters, they are remaking Ben-Hur. I mean, you must be incensed about that. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, they're remaking Ben-Hur. Charlton Heston won Oscars, directed by a director who everybody almost is unanimous in, like, this is one of the greatest directors we ever had. They're remaking it. You're upset, right? And he's like, yeah? And I was like, you didn't even know they were doing that. And now even that you do know, you don't care. Because that's not your toy. Guys, it's kind of like this, and this is just a plea to people in my generation. I'm not telling you have to love this movie. I'm not saying that. But if you want to have an argument about why this movie is bad, or why they shouldn't have rebooted the franchise, you gotta come with something better than just, I don't think they should do it. Go see it, come back with your arguments, and then we can have a discussion about it. Because it makes you seem, I mean, it's like this. If I was arguing with somebody and I was like, okay, you don't like it. Okay, did you not like the special effects? Were they not up to par? Do you think they kind of took you out of the movie or what? Well, I didn't see it. Okay, well, the acting. Did you think the characters weren't funny? Did you think they were kind of weird? Or what was it? Well, I told you I didn't see it. You've lost the argument because you have nothing to back it up with. Yes, guys, Ghostbusters is great. I love Ghostbusters. It's one of those movies where if it's on television, usually, if I have time, I'll sit down and watch it. It doesn't matter where the movie is. But to say that this is the pinnacle and we should never reboot this or revisit this idea is crazy. Okay? I mean, one of the things I always thought was, I was like, were you this upset as a kid when you found out they were making a cartoon about Ghostbusters? Did that make you angry? Or what about that Extreme Ghostbusters movie that came out more cartoon that came out more? Were you incensed? No, you didn't care. Should we not have any new comic book stories using this idea? And it's not Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray fighting ghosts. It's 4 characters fighting ghosts, and it's supposed to be funny. And that's good. Okay? Just keep it, let's see what happens. As I said, I remember as a kid, I was big into He-Man. And then I heard they were making a He-Man movie, and I was so excited. I was so excited. And then I started, seeing images and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. But I was like, okay, it's He-Man. I'll go in and I'll see. I saw that movie, and I was like, this sucks. I couldn't even watch that cartoon for years. But at least I saw the movie. Even if I had an inclination, I wasn't going to like it, because then I could argue about it. Why didn't you like He-Man? Well, I didn't like the fact they were on Earth. I thought they didn't have a lot of the characters. They only had 2 of the good guys in there along with He-Man. And there was this whole, so I can have a discussion about it, about why it didn't work. But if you're going to say that on a moral plane, that you're not going to go see this movie because you don't like the idea, then you've got no argument. I mean, the only reason that I can think that you're sitting there saying, I'm not going to go see this movie, is because I'm going to pay my money, I'm going to sit down, and I might like it. And that's sacrilege. So, and as I said, everybody backed this, except for the late, Harold Ramis, who unfortunately passed away. But everybody's in it. Even Ivan Reitman produced this movie. So if they're okay with it, and I don't think these guys need the money, if they're saying, okay, let's see what you can do with our toys, then, give it a shot. I'm sorry about that, Rand. As I said, I just felt embarrassed when I started realizing that seemed to be the real reason why people weren't liking it, is because you can't touch things from my childhood. And you have to. Because you don't want to become that person who just says, back in my day, we had the best music peaked. And I mean, nobody likes those people. So don't be them. So check it out, or don't. I'm not telling you either way. But I'm just telling you I liked it. And as I said, if you go there thinking, I'm not going to like this, you might be pleasantly surprised. So this is Jerryactric for Jerryactric Midnight Movie Review, telling you, if you're not going to the movies, then what are you doing with your life? You think I'm scared of that, Gary. I'm not scared of it. You're not going to be able to protest me. You're not going to have a picket line here. You're off camera right now. They can't see anything. You got friends. Yeah. Gary, I'll throw it down. I will pay to see you protest me next time. I will pay to see it. I would love to see it. Where are we at? We are Devonshire, right? South Hope, Stark, North Hollows, Crotch. Oh my God, I've got a long way to go. Okay.